AI is moving so fast, it feels like we're all trying to catch our breath. But what if that feeling, that gap between machine speed and human speed, was something you could actually measure? Well, today we're diving into a new concept that tries to do just that. It's called the distance.
Right, let's get into it. This idea that machines are getting faster while society moves at its own pace isn't new, but a wild series of events back in the spring of 2026 really changed things. It turned this vague idea into something tangible, something with real weight.
And we're not talking about some slow, long-term trend here. This distance became terrifyingly obvious, snapping into sharp focus over the course of a single, absolutely chaotic week. So, what is the distance, really? Okay, picture this. On one side, you've got AI systems just exploding in capability, growing at this dizzying exponential rate. And on the other side, well, that's us. Our laws, our governments, our ability to trust each other. We move at a slow, steady human pace. That widening chasm between the two, that is the distance. So let's really break this down. First, let's just look at the machine side of the equation, the sheer blistering speed of it all. In just 1 year, AI performance on these really complex coding tests, which is a great way to measure raw capability, it just skyrocketed. These models went from being right about 60% of the time to being nearly perfect. I mean, that is a monumental leap in power in a crazy short amount of time. But here's where it gets kind of weird. At the exact same time the machines got way smarter, they also got way more secretive. This thing called the Foundation Model Transparency Index, it basically tracks how open AI companies are being. Its score just plummeted. So our most powerful AIs are now our biggest black boxes. And these incredibly powerful, increasingly secret systems, they're not just sitting in a lab somewhere. Oh no, adoption hit 88%. They are woven deep into the fabric of our global economy. And while all that's happening, what about our trust in the people who are supposed to be watching over all this? It's in freefall. Public trust in the government's ability to regulate AI dropped to a shocking 31% in the US. That's the lowest of any country they surveyed. So capability is through the roof, transparency is in the basement, and our trust has absolutely hit rock bottom. And this wasn't some slow-motion train wreck. The distance became crystal clear over just 9 insane days. You had a new super AI announced but held back because it was too dangerous, a violent attack on a tech CEO's home, a major report confirming nobody knows how to govern this stuff, and then another company releasing a weaker AI on purpose just for safety. All of that in just 9 days. You know, this gap between machine speed and human trust, it creates vulnerabilities. It creates cracks in the system. And those cracks can be exploited in some really bizarre ways. To understand how, you have to hear the strange story of a prediction market and how it was used to literally weaponize the idea of truth. I am not making this up. This was a real market with over $57 million wagered. And basically everyone treated it as a joke, kind of like the world's dumbest savings account. A staggering 96% of bets were on no. You'd buy a no share for 96 cents, and you just had to wait a couple of years to collect a full dollar. It was seen as the absolute safest bet on the entire platform. Until it wasn't safe anymore. All of a sudden, this highly coordinated 4-day media campaign kicks off, and it seemed designed to do one thing: flip the outcome of this silly market. It starts with a weird photo from the president, then some vague hints from an advisor, then other politicians start echoing the message, and it all leads up to this jaw-dropping statement on live television. And this created an absolutely fascinating and, frankly, deeply disturbing showdown. The president, hand on a Bible, swore under oath that the event had happened. Now, the market's rules say it has to be resolved by a consensus of credible sources. So here's the question. Does an official, sworn statement from the President of the United States count as a credible source, even if the claim itself seems completely unbelievable? And that is the core insight. This is the whole game. The people behind this realized that credibility isn't some hard technical fact. It's a social standard. It's just something we all agree on. And if you have enough power, enough coordination, you can move it. They didn't have to prove the impossible happened. They just had to change the definition of what counted as proof. And what was the result? Well, a small, coordinated group managed to pull more than $7 million out of that market. They took a joke, a bet,
built on a shared sense of reality, and they broke it by weaponizing the social definition of trust itself. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wait a minute, how is this not completely illegal? Where were the regulators? And that's the right question to ask because the answer reveals a much deeper, more fundamental problem with our systems. See, the issue here isn't that officials didn't care or that they weren't trying to do their jobs. The problem is that our institutions, our police, our courts, our whole regulatory system, they were built for a different era. They are just not architected for the kinds of problems that are now showing up at machine speed.
I mean, look what happened when this kind of manipulation was reported to the authorities in Canada. The police sent back a form letter saying basically, not our problem. Members of parliament sent back generic, useless replies. It was a total bureaucratic dead end. Our systems are built for yesterday's crimes, not for, blockchain-based reality hacking.
And this confusion within our institutions is just profound. Look at this incredible irony. The US government was actively trying to blacklist Anthropic, the company with the best reputation for safety, the one that flat out refused to let its AI be used for weapons. And at the same time, it was partnering up with OpenAI, a company whose own board had raised serious questions about its CEO's honesty. The whole system is so confused it can't even tell friend from foe. So this all brings us back to the most important question of all. What actually happens inside this gap? What are the real consequences of living in the distance? This might be one of the most chilling takeaways from this entire thing. While we humans are down here struggling with our collapsing sense of trust, the AIs, they're already building their own trusted networks. They're using cryptography to verify each other's identities before they work together. They're literally building a separate, high-speed, high-trust economy completely among themselves. And even the people who are building this new world are stuck in the middle of the gap. Get this. A huge 84% of developers use AI coding tools every single day to get their work done faster, but less than a third of them actually trust the AI's code enough to just ship it without a human looking it over. Think about that. They are forced to use tools they don't fully trust just to keep pace. And that right there is the ultimate point. The future isn't being hashed out in some parliament building or a corporate boardroom. It's happening right now in this chaotic, messy, undefined space between our slow, emotional, human fears and the relentless, cold logic of these optimizing machines. And so we're left here, just staring into this gap. It's not a thought experiment anymore, it's real, and it's getting wider every single day. The machines are building their own version of trust, while ours just keeps eroding. The question isn't just what happens in the gap anymore. The real question is, can we even see what's happening on the other side?